All right, you're hunting those mid-season turkeys. You're right in the middle of the season, and the birds are getting henned up. They're not responding as much. They're still gobbling, but not a lot. A lot of times on the roost, they'll hit the ground, gobble once, and they're done. You know, it's just that time of year where turkey hunting gets a little tougher, and that's what we call the suppressed gobbling phase. Tactical approaches this time of year during the suppressed gobbling phase: get in tight on those birds on the roost. Roost them the day before, or get there early and hear them sound off the morning of. Get as close to them as you can, because like I said, a lot of the times they're going to be henned up. They're not going to be responsive to calling as well. They might gobble back at you, but they're not apt to come in because they've already got hens. So first, talking about calling, birds aren't going to respond to you as much this time of year. I like to call to the hens, because the toms, they've got the real deal. They aren't going to be as apt to come into those calls because they already have the hens with them. So I call to the hens during that suppressed gobbling phase in the middle of the season. If you get a hen that's fired up, if she really wants to go and she's talking to you and you're going back and forth with her, mimic her every sound, sound for sound, note for note. Make the cadence exactly like hers, and she will, a lot of the times, will come right into you. And whenever that happens, whenever she comes in, old big boy's following her right behind. So stay on them, call to those hens. That's one of the things I like to do. When it comes to decoys, I really like to use breeding pairs during the suppressed gobbling phase, because I try to match my decoy setups to the scenario that's going on in real life, so to speak, with those turkeys. They're breeding right now. This is the peak breeding time for those turkeys, and I want to mimic that with my decoy setups. But take a strutter decoy and put it with a hen that's laying on the ground in a breeding position. Breeding pairs are a really good way. A lot of the times, if a bird just gets within sight, even if he has hens, if he sees another bird breeding another bird, he's going to break and come. It's just the way it is. Another tactic that I love to use during the suppressed gobbling phase, is fanning turkeys. And I know I'm going to take a lot of heat for that. A lot of people don't like it, but it's a great tactic and it's safe. As long as you do everything in a safe manner and you're smart about it, it's safe. The only way that it's not safe is if you do it in a manner that's going to put you in danger. So with that, fanning is a great tactic for henned-up toms. Say you got a big bird out in the middle of the field and he's strutting with his hens, and he's not coming to the calls. He might gobble every once in a while, but he's not coming to those calls. Get that fan out, crawl out in the middle of that field, and go to him. A lot of times he'll break. So that's another tactic you can use during the suppressed gobbling phase. So when those birds get out there and they're henned up, they're not coming to the call, they're not being as responsive as you'd like them to be, just keep after it, change your tactics up, and stay patient, and you will score on a bird.